Good afternoon. It's March 23rd, 2023. And today we really just had a range day. In the early morning, it looked like we were just going to be trending up. But once we had this overshoot that tested the opening price from yesterday, um, it was pretty, the feel was that we were just going to range and test the lows, or at least the midline. And you can see we had an overshoot of this downward channel that bounced off the midline, but then we just kept selling off. So uh, on the daily chart, it probably looks like a bearish doji. But anyway, let's take a look at these trades. So in the overnight, looks like prices were moving up. We have a break and a move to a new high, and then we have two legs down. So then we get two legs of correction up. Perhaps you take this second entry short, but it's just not really clear what prices are doing at that point. And this, if you draw this channel off of these lows, this was very clearly a midline. So, we might be heading up to these highs, which I don't like. But there's enough room for 4 ticks back to the EMA right there, 91.25. Yeah, so you might take it for that reason. And it's a break and a move to a new high. So, but anyway, we're just chopping around for a little bit after that. This does look like a range, and that just probably just yeah, you can see that that's just the midline. So despite it being a range, when we have this breakout and it comes down and bounces off this channel, and we get this second entry long that ticks just one tick lower than this bar, and then shoots up, almost closes on its high. I really like that in real time. You have room to the midline and room to the overnight highs up here. So I like that. And you can see a bunch of people probably took profits at those overnight highs. But yeah, so that turns out to be, a good move. We got confirmation of the channel and just keeps going up. Then we get this sideways stuff, and that before it goes higher, and then we go sideways a little bit again. Fails to break out to the low side, bounces off those overnight highs, comes higher, goes sideways a little bit, breaks out, fails, tests the midline of the larger channel, and then we get a second entry long off of that EMA and that midline. So you might consider that, but all these overlapping bars is just a little risky. So really that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inside bars that are all inside this one. So it's not the greatest move, but it keeps going higher. And you get this double top, first entry, second entry off that midline. You can see prices are responding to that midline, so you might take that. And it goes higher, makes a new high, first entry, second entry. And I really like this one because we're at this midline. All these people are probably piling on to go short. It looks like a failed second entry long, and then you get this super bullish bar that also makes that a double test. So that's a trap. If you were watching it in real time, you knew, okay, that's going to test these highs. You can see some people took profits there, but other people held on, and we just tested the other side of that channel. People took a little bit of profits, and then it keeps going higher, and we get an overshoot. And yeah, we were just going to test these price levels from yesterday. You can see that's where everyone started taking their profits. So then we get a leg down. You get a first entry, second entry. I wasn't ready to go short just yet, but when we get that lower high, very bearish, I'm thinking it's going to test these lows. I like that. Even though it looks like this is a midline at that point, I think that's a good move. Then we bounce off these lows again, and you get a first entry, second entry, bearish bar, probably room back to the EMA to scalp out 31. See, there's 4 ticks. I think that's worth it. And if you're feeling, maybe you take this lower high right here. But at that point, it looks too congestive. So that starts this downtrend. Get a little spike in channel down, break, first entry, second entry. I'm not too sure about this one because, you know, the bias is still up at this point, but it does turn out to be a very good move. So maybe you take that, but I don't think you want to. I'll just put a box there. I don't think you want to take that. Big leg down. You can see at that measured. Once we get that measured leg, the buyers came back a little bit. And we're just chopping around here, and you do get a double test here off the key entry point. And that signal bar 1625. And that's a 5-tick signal bar, so I think you have to take that one. Even though it's a first entry, I think you have to take that. You can see a lot of people like that. We get an overshoot, another leg down, and then another leg down. This is a big trap right here. After it bounces, you get a super bullish bar off that midline and EMA. They just trap a bunch of longs and they take it super low. And then we practically get 2 measured legs of correction before, you know, maybe you take this one because that is a second entry short and a lot of room back to the EMA. 6, yeah, more than 2 points back to the EMA. You get a first entry, failed second entry right there, but I'm not crazy about that setup. We already have a break of this channel and move to a new low. So come back here, keep pushing lower, kind of overlap-ish. And then you get this steep channel down. And, you know, at this point, you should know that, or at least have a good idea that we're going to test these overnight lows. Get a break, move to a new low, and then you get a first entry, second entry. I like that one. You can see it's like right off of this price level too, so that gives you some more confidence in it. Technically, this is a second entry short too, right after that break, but you're going right into those lows. Big move down from that second entry. You get a break, first entry, second entry again. I like that to test this low. Turns out it makes a new low. And then you get this. This is a third entry, so you can't really take that, but when you get this lower high, it looks like this is a second entry short. So if you take that lower high, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Only problem is that we just broke out below the overnight lows. So you should expect some buying to come in, and that's what happens right here. So this one right here, you don't get a reversal setup, but it was so clear in real time that this was a reversal. So maybe you take that. I mean, if you do, if you wait till you get a break outside this channel, that's like a 24-point move. So something to consider. Get this leg of correction, break, move to a new low, and then you get a first entry, second entry. It's just a doji, but then you get a lower high, and that forms a double test. So maybe you go short off that. But I mean, we're expecting a new high on this channel, so I'm not too crazy about that one. Looks like we might get 2 legs of correction right there. And then it reverses. And this is a second entry, but you don't have a confirmed channel at that point. You get the higher low. This confirms the channel. Come up here, you get a first entry, second entry, not a good signal bar, but then you get a higher low. Maybe you take that, but I don't like it. It's very congestive. We didn't reach the highs of the channel. But when you get this failure right here off the key entry point, and we're at the lows of the range, I think you take that. And that brings us into the end of the day. So decent amount of price action today. I hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.